Last episode, Harper's world came crashing down when she discovered Declan was writing a book about a writer who falls for his mentor. Feeling betrayed and used, she fled their romantic dinner, convinced she had been nothing more than research for his next bestseller. Now, both must decide if their love is worth fighting for, or if some stories are meant to end before they truly begin. 3 days had passed since Harper last spoke to Declan. 3 days of ignoring his calls, avoiding the bookstore's front windows, and pretending her heart was not breaking a little more each hour. She was sitting in the back office of Between the Lines, mechanically processing inventory, when Mrs. Chen appeared in the doorway with a concerned expression. "Harper, sweetheart, you cannot hide back here forever." "I am not hiding," Harper said without looking up from her clipboard. "I am working." "You are punishing yourself," Mrs. Chen said gently, settling into the chair across from Harper's desk. "And probably punishing him too." Harper's pen paused over the inventory sheet. "He lied to me." "Did he? Or did he just not tell you everything all at once?" Harper finally looked up, her eyes red-rimmed from 3 nights of poor sleep. "He was writing a book about us, Mrs. Chen. About me. How is that not using me for material?" Mrs. Chen was quiet for a moment, studying Harper's face. "Can I tell you something about Mr. Chen and me?" Harper nodded reluctantly. "When we first met, he was a journalist, and I was working at a small newspaper as well. He interviewed me for a story about young Asian women in journalism." Mrs. Chen smiled softly. 3 months later, when we were dating, I found out he had pitched a follow-up article about falling in love with his interview subject." Harper blinked. "What did you do?" "I was furious," Mrs. Chen admitted. "I accused him of exactly what you are accusing Declan of, using me for his career. And he showed me the article he had written." Mrs. Chen's eyes grew misty. "It was not about using me, Harper. It was about how meeting me had changed his entire perspective on life, on love, on what mattered. He never published it, by the way, said some stories were too precious to share with the world." Harper felt her throat tighten. "That is different." "Is it?" Mrs. Chen asked gently. "Sometimes, sweetheart, the people we love inspire art. That does not make the love less real. It makes it more real. Real enough to create something beautiful." Before Harper could respond, the bell at the front of the store chimed. Mrs. Chen glanced toward the sound, then back at Harper with a mysterious smile. "I think you should go see who that is." "Mrs. Chen, I told you, I do not want to see him if—" "It is not him," Mrs. Chen said softly. "But I think you will want to see this anyway." Confused, Harper made her way to the front of the store and stopped dead in her tracks. The entire romance section had been transformed. Every shelf, every display, every surface was covered with handwritten notes. Hundreds of them, all in Declan's familiar handwriting. Harper approached slowly, her heart pounding. The notes were everywhere, tucked between books, taped to shelves, scattered across the reading nook where their book club met. She picked up the first one. "Day 1 of watching you. You recommended The Hating Game to a customer who said she was going through a divorce. You told her that sometimes we need to remember that love can be playful and healing, not just painful. I had never thought of books as medicine before." Harper's hands were trembling as she reached for another note. "Day 8. You laughed at something a customer said, and for a moment you lit up the entire store. I started coming here just to see if I could make you laugh like that." Another note. Day 15. You defended a romance novel against a customer who called it trash. You said that stories about love and hope and second chances could never be trash, because those are the things that make life worth living. That is when I knew I was falling for you." Harper moved through the store like she was in a dream, collecting note after note. "The first time you smiled at me, I forgot every word I had ever written. You said real chemistry is in the details, The way someone's voice changes when they talk to you. Mine changes every time I say your name. I have written a dozen bestsellers, but nothing I have ever created is as beautiful as the way you look when you are passionate about a book. You ask me what I feel when I kiss you. I feel like I am finally living inside one of the love stories I have spent years trying to write. Harper was crying now, tears streaming down her face as she read note after note. Each one was a moment, a memory, a piece of Declan's heart laid bare. She found a longer note tucked inside her favorite romance novel. Harper, I deleted the book. All 30,000 words. Because you were right. Some stories are too precious to share with the world. What we have is not research or material or inspiration for fiction. It is real. It is mine. It is ours. And I would rather lose every reader I have ever had than lose you. D. Oh my God, Harper whispered, clutching the note to her chest. He has been here since 5 this morning, Mrs. Chen said softly from behind her. He asked if he could redecorate. Harper spun around. Where is he now? He said he would wait in the coffee shop next door until you had read everything. He did not want to pressure you. Harper looked around at the hundreds of notes, at this incredible, overwhelming gesture of love and vulnerability. Declan had literally covered her world with his feelings, with proof that every moment between them had mattered to him. Mrs. Chen. Harper's voice was shaky. I think I made a terrible mistake. Then go fix it, Mrs. Chen said with a gentle smile. Go get your happy ending. Harper practically ran to the coffee shop, her heart hammering against her ribs. She spotted Declan immediately. He was sitting at their usual table, staring into a cup of coffee that had clearly gone cold hours ago. He looked exhausted, worried, and utterly beautiful. Declan, she called out, not caring that the entire cafe was watching. He looked up, and the hope that bloomed across his face nearly broke her heart. Harper. He stood slowly, like he was afraid she might disappear. Did you read? I read them, she said, closing the distance between them. I read every single one. And? Harper reached up and cupped his face in her hands, feeling the slight stubble, the warmth of his skin. And I love you too. Harper. His voice was rough with emotion. I am sorry, she whispered. I am sorry I did not trust you. I am sorry I ran. I am sorry I almost threw away the most beautiful thing that has ever happened to me because I was scared. You do not have to apologize, he said, his hands covering hers. I should have told you about the book from the beginning. I should have... Shh, Harper said, rising up on her toes. We both made mistakes, but reading those notes, seeing how you really feel. Declan, that is not research. That is love. It is so much love, he whispered, his forehead touching hers. I love how passionate you get about stories. I love how you see the beauty in everything. I love how you made me understand what I had been missing in every book I had ever written. What was that? The real thing, he said softly. I had been writing about love without understanding it. You taught me the difference. Harper smiled through her tears. And what is the difference? The difference is... Declan's thumb traced along her cheekbone. The difference is that love is not a plot device or a character arc. It is this. It is wanting to be better because of someone else. It is finding home in another person's eyes. It is being willing to give up everything you thought you wanted for something you never knew you needed. Declan Wright, Harper whispered. That is the most romantic thing you have ever said. I have been practicing, he said, with that devastating smile she loved so much. Kiss me, Harper said, right here, right now, in front of everyone. Kiss me like we are the main characters in our own love story. and he did. He kissed her like she was precious and perfect, and everything he had ever dreamed of. He kissed her like they were the only two people in the world, like this moment was the climax of every romance novel ever written. When they finally broke apart, the entire coffee shop erupted in applause. Harper laughed, burying her face in Declan's chest. "I think we just gave them their own entertainment." "Good," Declan said, his arms tightening around her. "Let them see what real love looks like." "So what happens now?" Harper asked, looking up at him. "What is our epilogue?" Declan's smile was soft and full of promise. "Well, I was thinking we could start with you moving in with me. I have this amazing apartment with built-in bookshelves that are just begging to be filled with romance novels. And then, we write our own story, day by day, moment by moment. No plot outline, no character development plan, just us, figuring it out as we go." Harper felt her heart swell with so much happiness she thought it might burst. "That sounds perfect." "Just one thing," Declan said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "What?" "I am keeping the pen name. Sophia Sterling has a certain ring to it, do not you think?" Harper laughed, the sound bright and joyful. "I think Sophia Sterling writes much better romance when she has a muse." "Is that what you are? My muse?" "I am your partner," Harper said firmly. "In writing, in love, in everything." "Partners," Declan agreed, sealing the promise with another kiss. 6 months later, Harper curled up in the reading nook of their shared apartment, a cup of tea steaming beside her and Declan's latest manuscript in her hands. This one was not about them. It was about a shy librarian and a motorcycle mechanic who meet during a citywide blackout. "What do you think?" Declan asked, settling behind her on the couch, his arms wrapping around her waist. "I think..." Harper leaned back against his chest, feeling completely content. "I think you have finally learned how to write authentic love." "I had a good teacher," he murmured against her ear. "You had experience," Harper corrected. "There is a difference." Speaking of experience." Declan's voice took on a tone that made Harper's pulse quicken. "I have been thinking about our next research project." Harper turned in his arms, eyebrow raised. "Research project?" "Well," Declan's smile was soft and nervous and excited all at once. "I am thinking about writing a book about a proposal, but I want to make sure I get all the details right." Harper's heart stopped. "Declan." "I love you, Harper Mills," he said, his green eyes serious and warm and full of forever. "I love your passion for stories, your kindness to everyone who walks into that bookstore, the way you make me want to be the hero worthy of someone like you." "Declan," Harper's voice was barely a whisper. "Will you marry me?" he asked, producing a ring that was simple and perfect, and exactly what she would have chosen. "Will you let me spend the rest of my life writing love stories with you?" Harper looked at this beautiful, wonderful man who had turned her safe, predictable world upside down in the most magnificent way possible. "Yes," she said, laughing and crying at the same time. "Yes, yes, yes." As Declan slipped the ring onto her finger, Harper realized something that made her smile. She had spent years reading about happily ever after, but living it was so much better.